Can we look at uses of density? Uses of density. Uses of density. Uses of density. Number one. Uses of density. Number one. To identify materials. To identify materials. Density is used to identify materials. Is that clear? To identify materials. If you want to know whether a substance is for instance, if they give you a liquid and you need to know whether it is water, what do? You find the density, because the density of water is known. So if you find that its density is that one, then you conclude it is the material you're talking about. So we can use it to identify materials. Number two, to determine the purity of materials. To determine the purity of materials. To determine purity of a substance. English. To determine the purity of a substance. To determine the purity of materials. You have seen people from National Dairy Authority trying to check on milk, or those direct stores where they buy milk, to find out if milk is pure. If they have not added their water, what do? They find the relative density. They get that meter and put it in the milk, and then it will tell them there is water. This is not pure milk. So, by getting the density, you can know whether the substance is pure or not. Choose right that gases for. Find the volume of a substance. To find the volume of a substance. That is the other use. To find the volume of a substance. To find the volume of a substance. This is of density. That is perfect. Okay. Let's look at measuring density. Subheading, measuring density. Measuring density. How do we measure density? Density cannot be measured using a cylinder. What do we use to measure density? Look at the formula for density. Okay? We said density is equal to mass over volume. So what are you going to do if you want to know the density of a substance? First, establish its mass. Measure the mass. What substance do we use to measure mass? Mass, we use a beam balance. Then volume. Measure the volume of the substance. It depends. If the material has a definite shape, we use the formula. If it doesn't have a definite shape, what do we use? Displacement method. We looked at this last week. Use displacement method. After you have got mass and volume, substitute in the formula, you get density. As simple as that. So let's write. Measuring density. Roman numeral 1, using the formula. Using the formula. Roman numeral 1, using the formula. Put there Roman numeral 1. Using the formula. So, how do we use the formula? Measure the mass and the volume of the substance. Measure the mass and the volume of the substance. Measure the mass and the volume of the substance. Is that clear? So you have measured the mass and its volume. We looked at how to measure mass and how to measure volume. I hope by now you know what I'm talking about. So measure the mass and the volume of the substance. Then after that, what do? Calculate the density. Calculate the density using the formula. Calculate the density using the formula. Calculate the density using the formula. Is that clear? Calculate the density using the formula. Next. Any question? No. Okay. Roman numeral 2. Measuring density of a liquid. Measuring density of a liquid. Measuring density of a liquid. So we want to see, how do you measure the density of a liquid? Measuring density of a liquid. Measuring density of a liquid. We are going to use a beaker. Using a beaker. Using a beaker. We want to measure the density of a liquid using a beaker. Sana tumeyabu jawano. Ndabo mkoi wasipe. Okay. Put these things in the form of a bullet. Huh? But in examination we don't do bullet. Never put bullet 1. Measure the mass M. M1. This one. Measure the mass M1. Measure the mass M1 of a clean dry beaker. Measure the mass M1 of a clean dry beaker. Measure the mass M1 of a clean dry beaker. I think I can measure the mass M1 of a clean dry beaker using a beam balance. You get a clean dry beaker and put it on a beam balance. When I talk about a beaker, it seems some of you don't know what a beaker is. Give me that beaker. See beaker, beaker. A beaker. You see beaker, say. Hey, what is it? This is the beaker I'm talking about. Yeah? They have several types. Some are made from plastic, like this one. Others are made from glass. and they have defined sizes. Is that clear? So we want to measure the mass of this when it is empty. There is nothing, and we are calling it M1. Is that clear? Bracket 2. Measure a known volume V. Measure a known volume V of the liquid using a measuring cylinder. Get me measuring cylinder. Measure a known volume V of the liquid using a measuring cylinder. This is the measuring cylinder. They also have different types and sizes. Okay? If you find it when it is plastic, don't say Mr. Baz showed us the one which is glass. Is this glass? This is plastic. So, measure a known volume V. Are we there? Yes. Of the liquid. The liquid could be water. Huh? Using a measuring cylinder. Then you transfer that volume into the beaker. Are we together? You transfer this into the beaker. Are we together? After you have transferred into the beaker, what do you do next? You measure the mass of this beaker with the water in it. Are we together? And find its mass, which you are going to call M2. So we are saying, measure the mass M2 of the beaker with the liquid. Measure the mass M2 of the beaker with the liquid. Measure the mass M2 of the beaker with the liquid. Are we together? Then next, calculate the mass of the liquid. Calculate the mass of the liquid. Calculate the mass of the liquid, and we are calling it M. Calculate the mass of the liquid. We are calling it M. We are saying so this is what we are saying. Stop writing. You look at the blackboard. I have said we want to find the density of a liquid. The liquid we are going to use is what? Is water. First get the mass of this beaker when it is empty. Are we together? I'm calling it M1. M1 is equal to mass of empty beaker. Are we together? Then get water, put it in a measuring cylinder and note its volume. You are calling it V. So V is the volume. Volume of what? Volume of the liquid. In this case I'm saying what? Water. So volume of liquid, we are calling it V. Full stop. After that, get this liquid, pour it in the beaker, and find the mass of the beaker when the water is there, or the liquid is there. Is that clear? So we are calling it M2. M2 is what? Mass of beaker, not 2. Mass of the beaker plus liquid. Am I clear? The liquid could be what? Water. Now, the next thing which we are going to do is to find the volume, the mass of water only. So mass of liquid, because water is a liquid, mass of the liquid will be equal to M2 minus M1. M2 minus M1. Are we together? Now, we know volume is V of the liquid. Mass of the liquid is this. Can you find density? You can, using the formula for density. What is the formula? Density is equal to mass over volume.